In this video, we're going to have a look at the Bestarc. This is the BTC550DP machine, 55 amps, and it's the 12th generation, 110 and 220 volts, so it's dual voltage, pilot arc plasma cutter. You can buy this particular machine off of Amazon. They have all their machines on Amazon. It's packaged very well. Comes with an accessory box. And then the machine itself. So 15 or 20 pounds, and I like that the fact that the machine does come with the 220 plug. So the adapter, which I'm sure is in here, will adapt it for 110 or 120 if you don't have a 220 plug. But I'm going to use the 220 or 240 volt plug as we test it out. In the accessory box, we've got a spare piece of air hose, a bag with some Teflon tape and extra consumables, tips, and some hose clamps. We've got the ground clamp, the adapter to go from the 220 to the 110, an instruction booklet. Looks like it covers 3 different models here. And then the plasma torch itself. It's nice, it comes with a little guide. The torch does not have any labeling on it, but the consumables appear to be AG60. It only comes with the 1 cup, so you'll have to get some consumables, and you can get the consumables for these plasma cutters right off of Amazon, where you can get the machines as well, and I'll put links in the description. But that looks to be an AG60 type consumables on this machine. Then on the plug end, you've got the plug for the switch. This is for the pilot arc, and then for the air as well as the torch connection. So here's a look at the front of this particular plasma cutter. Got a couple of knobs and then 4 buttons and the torch connection, and that just simply screws on there. Next, we've got the pilot arc connection, and then the connector for the trigger. This will be for the ground clamp. Got the regulator adjuster right here, adjust your airflow. We're going to use 220 volts, so I do not need the adapter, but if you do and you want to adapt to 110 or 120 volts, now you're set for that. So that's real simple as well. Then here on the back, it's already got an air connector, so if your airline already has a connector, all you need to do is plug that in. If you have some other type of setup, you may need to use the included hose and hose clamps, but in my case, I could just plug in right there, and then you've got the on-off switch. And today I'm going to be using this little 6-gallon Porter cable. It's 150 psi, 2.6 SCFM. I've got it set for 100 psi, connected to about a 30 or 50 foot hose, connected to the plasma cutter. And I think that that's a kind of a common compressor that somebody may have in their garage as a hobbyist, maybe wanting to use that to do a little bit of plasma cutting, and we'll see how it does today. So I'm going to reach into the back, we'll turn the machine on, and again we're connected to 240 volts. So we've got air and cut. So here you can set your air or test it, and here this will show you the pressure. So let's just set it for about 65 psi. We've got 15 amps up to 55. We'll try 35 amps to start with, and then this will tell you if you're in the green with enough air pressure for the cut. See, it's showing a little bit high for 35 amps. Let's try 45 amps and see what happens. Compressor. And then here you've got plate or mesh, so it has a mesh setting if you're cutting expanded steel. You can flip that down to mesh, and it kind of gives you a little depiction of the item or the type of plate or mesh. And then this is the post time on the airflow. I think it's good, unless you're limited on air as I am, to have that as long as possible, and that just runs air through the torch to help cool it down after you cut. We'll put it on 10. It's got a toggle button, but I don't know if that does anything or not. Up here you've got 2T or 4T. 2T is what I normally use to cut. So the trigger, you press the trigger, it cuts, release the trigger, it turns off. And then 4T, if you've got a real long cut, you can press the trigger or release and it'll still allow the arc to run until you press and release again. And then this is the pre-flow and post-flow on the air pressure. And then post-flow we've got 10. And then when you connect your ground clamp, it's best if you connect it to the workpiece, but this is such a small piece. This is a 1/16 inch. We'll just put our clamp right here on the table. I've got the machine on 45 amps and 65 psi, so I should be able to go pretty quickly through this piece. The fan did just quit, so if it sits on the bench running long enough, the fan will shut off. And it does have the pilot arc. And as I expected, it cut through that at that setting. That's really kind of too high, but you can go real fast if you have more amps and more air pressure. It just cut that with no problems whatsoever. Same settings on the Bestarc plasma cutter, and it's got 1/8 inch material here. And I'm going to try to use a square for a straight edge. We'll see how straight of a cut we can get with that. All right, that went right through there, no problems whatsoever. Cut it like it was a hot knife through butter. Nice straight cut, a little bit of dross on the backside, so I could probably go a little bit quicker. I just like to set the machine high. This is my personal preference. High pressure and high amperage, and just control the cut by the speed. And I don't do a lot of plasma cutting, so I need some practice, but anyway, it'll do it. Let me try one more. We'll see if I can get it a little bit cleaner than that. So there's the dross on that cut. Cleans right off there, no problem. Pretty nice cut. Now here's the beauty of the pilot arc machine. This is a piece of old bed frame that has paint on it. You do need to grind off a nice smooth place to put your ground clamp on, so you got metal to metal, bare metal contact. But the cutting surface can be painted or rusted, and it doesn't make a difference with the pilot arc machine. So let's cut this and we'll see how that does. And you can see it went through that, no problem whatsoever. Nice straight cut because I used a straight edge, and not too bad on the dross. So speed was pretty close. All right, let's try one more cut. Let's max this thing out. So let's go to 55 amps and we'll try a piece of 1/4 inch. I'm going to try to cut this off straight. See if I can get a halfway decent cut on this. All right, it was halfway straight. I didn't do a very good job with my smoothness, but it cut through that like it's hot knife through butter. And that's 1/4 inch at 55 amps, which is probably a little high for this thickness. I could have gone a lot quicker. There's the dross on that piece. And the piece I cut off has quite a bit of dross on it. So let me clean that off with the hammer, knock that off there, and we'll have a better look. The dross came right off the back, no problem. And I've had real good luck with Bestarc plasma cutters, and this one's no exception. I think it's great for a small shop, hobbyist type person like myself. For around the house, doesn't take up a lot of space, runs on real small air compressor, depending on the length of your cuts. Went from 1/16 inch up to 1/4 inch, and it just cut through them like it doesn't even exist. So real nice handy machine. I don't know how the longevity is, but I've got a Generation 3 that I've had for several years, and it's still working fine. And we'll see you on the next video.